Governor DeSantis removed actually one of the state attorneys, Andrew Warren, from the Tampa area, Hillsborough County in Florida, because he signed a pledge not to follow or enforce the state law of Florida. Now, it happened to be, in this case, the state law in Florida was the 15-week abortion ban.
Governor DeSantis says that he saw prosecutors ignoring the law in other states, so he wanted to know if it was happening here. The governor's staff spoke with line prosecutors and police across Florida, and the governor says one name repeatedly came up: Andrew Warren.
When you take an oath as a prosecutor or a government lawyer, you swear an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the state of, in this case, Florida. The prosecutor doesn't get to pick and choose the laws he wants to enforce. So you're going to have this issue of prosecutorial discretion versus non-enforcement of the law.
They basically take it upon themselves to determine which laws should be followed and which laws should not be followed. And I can tell you, in Florida's Constitution, that Constitution vests the veto power in the governor, not an individual district attorney or state attorney.
Discretion means a determination, not that I'm not going to enforce the law, but that there may be a reason why I should not prosecute this particular case. Maybe witnesses have died. Maybe witnesses' memories have been bad. Maybe too much time has passed. That's discretion. That's judgment. That's what you use in making prosecutorial decisions. But you never, ever say, I'm not going to prosecute that law, period, ever, because I don't believe in it, or because the legislature and me disagree as to whether there should be that law. That is not an option.
Would that be a violation of oath?
Yes, it would be a violation of your oath.
He actually signed letters saying he wouldn't enforce laws against transgender surgeries for minors, laws protecting the right to life, and then he has all these policies in his agency that are called presumptive non-prosecution. No, the law is presumptively enforced. That's not something that's acceptable.
George Soros, and this was a Soros-backed state attorney, today recommitted to investing millions of dollars in those local DA races and standing behind his candidates. So he is not going anywhere when it comes to the funding and the backlash that we've seen of the DAs unwilling to enforce, whether it's criminal laws, whether it is the 15-week abortion ban in Florida. The list goes on and on. We're seeing around the country, whether it's people getting attacked in the streets or just violent crime. It's lawlessness in general.
Multiple highly credible whistleblowers. Democrats love whistleblowers, right? They have now come forward to Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley, detailing what they say is an effort from inside the FBI to discredit information about Hunter Biden and his nefarious foreign dealings.
Christopher Wray, the FBI director, is testifying. He's getting a lot of questions and pressure on the FBI's decision-making involving Hunter Biden, classifying that as disinformation, the laptop.
We're looking live now on Capitol Hill, and that is FBI Director Christopher Wray staring down a long list of questions today from senators.
They're not just asking questions. They have FBI officials coming to their office saying, we're being purged, is the word used. We're being purged out of the FBI, conservatives out of the FBI.
As just one example, to make my concern clear, in October 2020, an avenue of reporting on Hunter Biden was ordered closed. That Hunter Biden information related to potential criminal activity. According to whistleblowers, the reporting was either verified or verifiable via criminal search warrants. But it was shut down on the basis of it being at risk of disinformation.
We saw a lot of topics that come up, and when they first were initially brought up, they were flagged as disinformation, flagged as fake news, and all of those things that would happen. And then 6 months, a year later, all of a sudden, they're fact, or all of a sudden, they're at least a discussion point. We've heard about that with the origins of COVID, some of the side effects of things that have happened, where literally the conversation was blocked off until the New York Times decided, we'd like to do an article on this, and then all of a sudden, it was fair game.
The idea that your politics would even come into discussion or at play is inappropriate for the FBI. The fact that they're saying we're purging out conservatives, it shouldn't matter anybody's politics there. They should be trusted law enforcement agents, especially at the federal level.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Joe Manchin have struck a deal on a bill that includes energy, health, and tax policy provisions.
They keep trying every time, whether it's Build Back Better, whatever they want to call it, Inflation Reduction Act. They want basically double the size of an agency which has had serious problems, as we all know, with people like Lois Lerner and politics coming into play with who gets treated and how they get treated.
The Wall Street editorial board says progressives want Joe Biden to unleash what they call beast mode executive power. And the Schumer Manchin tax bill supplies the cash to turn the Internal Revenue Service into a Wolverine. The plan includes $80 billion in new funding for the tax man.
But understand what they want to do with this. They're being clear. $45.6 billion of that is for enforcement, and they want to focus the main targets on middle-class Americans so that there will be more audits in the United States of America.
The IRS either assumes that you've got Americans cheating to the tune of $200 billion. That must be one of the considerations. 2, the IRS is just so inefficient they haven't been able to collect this money. Or 3, have they just come up with a plug number to justify this massive spending bill? I think it's number 3. But with this many agents being hired, I think they're coming after all of us.
78 to 90% of the money that they're planning to raise from underreported income is going to come from those making less than $200,000 a year. Only 4 to 9% is going to come from those making $500,000 or more.
In spending $80 billion, which is 6 times more than the annual yearly budget of the entire IRS, they're going to be unleashed against the American people, but not the upper classes. And why is that? Because they can afford lawyers.
They want more audits. They want more IRS agents out in the field, driving around, showing up at your house, showing up at your place of business. And again, they're targeting middle-class Americans who don't get to rely on attorneys and accountants to prepare their taxes all the time. We should just be simplifying this process for everybody.
We have breaking news tonight on our southern border, where the Biden administration now has reportedly approved a plan to complete a section of border wall near Yuma, Arizona.
4 major gaps in the wall will be fixed. But flashback to Joe Biden during his campaign, because he said, no, we're not building any more wall ever.
Trump campaigned on build that wall. Are you willing to tear that wall down?
There will not be another foot of wall constructed on my administration.
The idea here that you make these bold claims, never going to do not another foot, and now here you go, you're filling gaps in one spot of the wall that's had some significant problems since January. 160,000 people have illegally crossed.
The Department of Homeland Security says it'll fill 4 gaps where construction halted after President Biden took office. The area is near the Morelos Dam, and the Biden administration pointed to the danger to migrants and first responders in that area near the Colorado River in justifying its decision.
If it had a Trump name on it, if he was a Trump project, it was immediately deemed poor or a bad decision. And what has happened with that? They've had to reverse that over and over again. They've had to go back and go, oh, we were wrong. Yeah, we left things unfinished, and maybe that wasn't the best bet. Maybe we should have at least wrapped up these projects, because you have situations like this.
President Biden, when he was a candidate, said there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration. Yeah. So what changed?
We are not finishing the wall.
Her answer is, we're not finishing the entire wall. None of us think that Joe Biden is going to go in there with Secretary Mayorkas and finish the entire wall. That would be way too much, right? Like, that'd be like going back to Remain in Mexico, or going back with Operation Talon. It has to be Joe Biden's way. So her response is not, again, fixing, because fixing means working. You fix things that were working and that you want to work again. If something is broken that you think was ineffective, you don't fix it.
Al-Qaeda's top terrorist, Ayman al-Zawahiri, taken out by a U.S. drone while standing on the balcony of a safe house in Afghanistan. Once known as Bin Laden's right-hand man, he helped mastermind the 9/11 attacks and led al-Qaeda after Bin Laden's death.
He was a 9/11 mastermind. I'm glad he's dead. He deserved to be dead. He's got the blood of thousands upon thousands of Americans on his hands. But it is concerning about where he was killed. The fact that he was back in the capital of Afghanistan, in a senior Taliban leader's home, gathered with his family outside on a porch, and he felt comfortable enough in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan to not just have movements around the city, but to actually move back.
He returned to that house
to reunite with his wife and children, that they don't believe he ever left that house, but that he frequently went out on that balcony, and that is where they targeted him, right on that balcony.
It does seem to me that the great victory that the president is touting is somewhat tempered by the fact that al-Qaeda and the Taliban are still working together.
It shows how confident and how arrogant, one might say, the Taliban have become, that even after swearing that they would never host al-Qaeda leaders again, that they would never go back and repeat the past, that they don't just have an al-Qaeda leader, they have the al-Qaeda leader. He's hosted right in the center of Kabul. He's there for months.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the Taliban, quote, grossly violated the Doha Agreement by hosting and sheltering al-Qaeda's top leader. Yeah, because you can't make agreements with the Taliban. Al-Zawahiri is in the Taliban leader's house. That's who housed the head of al-Qaeda. He said, come to my home in Kabul. I'm so unconcerned about you getting my family, hurt, that you can come live in my place and come reunite with your family. And great job, CIA, great job, U.S. Intel. But wow, what a change.